What up?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to
Hello.
episode 144 of the Green Suiters
Wow.
podcast. And tonight is a special podcast. Very, very
Mm-hmm.
special for one
Mm-hmm.
lucky person tonight, but we'll get into that in a minute. First, I want to welcome a few new patrons that we have.
Really?
Yeah, a few.
Hey,
I thought I wrote the names down earlier, but I didn't.
hey, Jason. I think your microphone is not the one that you're talking in.
Really?
Do you think so?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some echoey going on that's not normal.
Hold on. Hold on.
How about now?
There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow, Ronnie, you got
Amazing.
good ears.
No, what a difference.
It is.
Well, I'm
huh?
glad anybody listening to this podcast is going to be like, what in the heck is going on?
Yeah, that's the difference in a microphone and not a microphone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got new
Huh.
members. I believe last week we did
Huge.
call off Mr. Stan Darledge, who became a hand
Hi,
sander.
Stan. Hi, Stan. I got some sanding you need to do.
Yeah.
Rhymes.
So now we have three new patrons. We
Oh,
have
nice.
two tool sharpeners and one hand sander.
Ooh.
First tool sharpener, Mr. Paul Ciura. I hope I'm saying that right, Paul.
Hi, Paul. Welcome.
Then
Welcome.
our other tool
Awesome.
sharpener is Mr. Gordon Harris.
Hi, Gordon.
Welcome, Mr. Gordon Harris.
And then finally, we have our hand sander, Mr. Jose Escato.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, Mr. Escato.
He should have a restaurant.
Escato.
Mr.
Escoto.
Let's go to
Escoto. That's
go-
not Mr. Roboto. That's Mr.
No.
Escato.
That's where you go after the restaurant.
That's it.
All right. So, tonight, technically, we could do the drawing for the giveaway because this comes out on the 1st, but I want to give everybody an opportunity to sign up for Patreon before the end of the week so they can get their chance to win the monthly giveaway, which is with Bits, and they're giving away 3 $100 gift cards
Wicked.
to one of our lucky patrons, which you have to be in order to win our giveaways. And if you want to join, go to patreon.com/Green Suiters podcast and sign up, because what we're about to do now is completely unexpected, but we're doing it. So a little bit of backstory for those of you that don't know this. So we have the two upper tiers, Journeyman and Master, if I remember correctly. We don't have any Master patrons, but we do have 8 special Journeymans.
Yes.
Now, what does being a journeyman get you? Well, I'm glad you asked. It gets you the opportunity for us to come out to your shop and hang out with you, take you to dinner, all 3 of us.
Wings. Go for some wingies.
Go for some wingies. Yep. And so tonight we're going to draw said winner for this
Ooh.
year's,
Makes me nervous.
I know, for this year's
Spin
shop
The
visit
wheel.
winner. Hold on.
Spin the wheel.
Are you going to do it right now?
Yeah, I'm
Are
gonna
you
do it right
spin?
now.
You're gonna spin the wheel?
I am. Well, first I'm gonna
Just like
put our
Mad Max and Thunderdome.
I'm gonna put our names in. Okay, so here's who we have. I'm just using the wheelofnames.com. We have same thing.
Hang on a second. There really is a
that what
place
it's
like
called?
that.
Yeah,
I knew you always used it. I didn't know what it was called.
that's what I use for all of our giveaways.
The wheelofnames.com. That is amazing. Whoever thought
Yeah.
that was freaking smart. Is there ads on there when you're using it?
There it does an ad does come up, but you can close
That's how
it
they make
the
their
minute
money.
it comes
Okay.
up.
All right.
But it works really, really good. So here's who we have. We have Tyler from Forge 3D.
Woohoo.
I'm only going to read first names for this one, but we have Wayne, we have Ken, we have Anjon, who is actually the winner of my Patreon giveaway. I'll be going to visit him next month. We have Bailey, we have Nathaniel, we have Craig, and we have Mr. Steve. Last but not least,
So it sounds like you're leaving out my wife.
Yeah.
Just
she's not a journeyman.
no, yes, she is.
No,
Yes,
she's
she
not.
No, she's not. She's an apprentice.
She's an apprentice.
$20 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No,
Ronnie,
this
you know
is the
what's
$80 a month.
this is the 80 a month.
Oh yeah. I forgot
Hey.
we created this after it. She
Hey.
did the top tier, but that was before. Okay, we're good.
Ronnie,
what I was going to say is we're going to throw her out anyway, but whatever.
Ronnie, when I came home tonight, I told Marianne on the show we were gonna spin the wheel. She's going, "Oh, good, I have a chance to win." I go, "You are not top tier, honey."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I thought you were taking them out anyway, so I was kind of making that point. Just in case Kelly listens to this one, I didn't think she thought she had a chance because she doesn't. She gets me every night.
You know that
He's a
these
smoothie. He's a smoothie.
you know that these 8 people right now are just sitting in their vehicle or in their shop and they're like, would you just draw the name already? I feel like we should just drag it out. Maybe hold on, let's spin it. And then it's spinning right now. And then when the winner comes up, we just
How long did it
wait
spin?
until the end of the episode. Oh, it's
How long-
done.
It's already done.
No
It's done.
way.
This is like you playing the bye-bye game.
Yeah,
I know, I love
bye-bye.
this. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I have
You did-
all the control, people.
You win the bye-bye game every time because you hit disconnect, and now you know, and we don't.
I have all the control. Are you ready?
Are we going to get? Do you want to wait? If you want to wait, I don't care. I'm not saying that we have to know. Right
I want
now.
to know because I want to know where I'm going.
Okay.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. It even matters where you go.
Can I give you a hint? This is
Yes.
gonna drive. I was actually recently in
Oh, I know who
this
won.
state.
I know who won.
You went to U.S. Tool and Fastener.
I did.
Steve won.
Steve Iadarola.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Wow,
So he lives.
congratulations,
He lives
Steve.
up in the JLC territory because we see him there.
He
Yeah,
does.
Where does
I
he live?
actually went to JLC with him.
Does he live in which state does he live in?
Mass.
Massachusetts.
He lives in Taxatushits?
No, I didn't know if it
Mhm.
was like Rhode Island or Massachusetts or. So he
No,
lives
he's
in
in Mass.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's
Oh my God.
well, that's not close. We're
It's
not
not
driving.
close. We're definitely flying.
That's 12
Ooh,
hours.
but you know what's good about up there? There's a lot of good wingies.
And
well-
isn't there some lobster up there?
Oh, the hell with that. Wingies.
I'd take lobster any day over wingies.
Yeah.
Lobster's
Wingies.
in a lobster's in a drawer.
Do you know what's better than lobster? Is good scallops.
Oh, I love scallops. I love them.
I had some last night at Hibachi. It was awesome.
Mm.
I don't think I've ever had scallops.
Oh my God. And
Hey.
this chef cooked them proper.
Maybe we should keep it a secret and not let Steve know and just show up.
Well, he's going to know now.
I know.
Hey, Ronnie, that was real brilliant, dude.
That's what I was doing.
So
He does listen to the podcast. I can guarantee it.
Just show up.
I was
Hey,
literally just
going on?
there. I was just with him. So,
You know
all right,
what?
I guess we're
though?
going back.
All the other guys, I want to go there too.
I know. Can we do all of them? Let's just say
Well-
you get a car. You get a car.
Well, let's discuss that for a minute, right? Because we did have a new potential idea for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Did we not? Do you guys want to talk
Oh,
about
the
that?
one we talked about when we had our little meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go and just put it out there. I don't care. Let's just do it.
Twice a year.
So next year, we're thinking about doing 2 events, right? And I think, what do we say? One would be like we just did. So we're going to visit Steve
Mm-hmm.
or whoever. Like, it doesn't have to be, it can't be Steve next year. Dang it.
Why can't it be? It's
I
like
guess
we're
it-
gonna.
It
I
can
guess
be.
it
Yeah,
can.
it can.
It could. I mean, we're not going to toss them out, but
But here's the other thing. This was a great idea. I think we're going to draw and we're going to bring one lucky person here to us also. So we would fly you in, put you up in a room, and we could go to Ale Emporium to get real wings. Oh yeah. We could go see Sedge's shop you guys can come over. We can do a barbecue at my place. I mean, just hang out, meet some of the other local people around here, and just come hang out, kind of like what we do on the weekends. So I don't know. That's kind of cool. Like, yes, it's going to be more, but
I like the idea. It's two chances
Yeah.
instead of one. Yeah. Yeah. Let's,
So
because
we
we're all
could do-
about giving as much opportunity as possible and also going below, like where we don't make anything.
right.
We
Yeah.
just zero ourselves out.
Well, I can tell you I started to do some. Hold on, before we get into that, let's
Yeah.
congratulate Steve.
Congratulations,
Steve, congratulations.
Steve.
Congratulations.
I had a rolla. I said
If
it
you
right.
didn't win, I know about half of you, I think, have actually paid for a full year. So you're going to have the opportunity. We're probably going to look at doing the fly somebody out to us, maybe sometime in the spring when the weather is nice.
Yes.
So there's a very likely chance that, you've already bought in, you're going to get another opportunity. So
Mhm.
for those of you that are not a journeyman or higher, just understand that if you want this opportunity, there's quite a bit of costs that are associated with that. Now we're actually increasing those costs by also paying to bring somebody here. So sometimes, we can luck out and somebody could be close enough for us to drive. But that did not happen. We're not driving to Boston. So
I just want to say one thing to everybody out there who might consider to become a journeyman to fly out here to Indianapolis, or we'll fly them out. It's worth the money just to go to Ale Emporium.
yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Absolutely. And we'll do
And we can
Castleton.
fire up.
Huh?
Yeah, the real one.
We'll do Castleton, and it's quite the experience. You shouldn't eat, if you're thinking about it, you shouldn't eat for 3 days
Right, leading up to it.
prior. Yeah.
Wise words.
Yeah.
Man, this is
I think-
exciting.
Yeah, it's
This
really
is
a hoot.
exciting. Congratulations, Steve. Seriously. The way it's going to work from here is, Steve, I'll be in contact with you. We'll give you some dates that work for us, anywhere from now until basically July up to like November, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of deal. And you let us know what dates work best for you, and we can get going on getting all that stuff booked. So the reason why, before we move on, the reason why we decided today of all days to just go ahead and draw, we didn't want it to get too late in the year to where maybe we only had about 3 weeks of wiggle room to get out there. And we understand that everybody else has lives. So you might be traveling, you might be doing other things. So we wanted to give it the, whenever you have the time available, but we have a big space so we can make sure that we do this and it's right. So congrats. Man, that's exciting.
Yeah, congrats. And we just finished up a big meeting for all the other patrons for another benefit.
Wow.
And we can talk about that.
Yeah, we can. So we were speaking about the money thing, right? So we're gonna have to buy the plane tickets and hotel and all that stuff to up
No, I was
to
talking about-
Boston.
I was
But-
talking about our little go and see trip we just had.
Well,
Con.
Con.
Fun.
So we are. I started doing crunching some numbers on costs associated with it. It's going to be more than we thought. But it's okay. The hotel's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It really
100
is.
100%.
It is.
It's beyond what we even
wonderful.
thought.
But overall, the visit was really good. Really good. Like everything about it just screams
Yeah.
like it's going to be an awesome time.
The biggest picture that I painted for Kelly that was different than my imagination was that the conference room, when you think of a hotel conference room, you think of like a tunnel, like you feel like you're inside of a hotel where you're not part of outside. And one of the biggest surprises is there's a double glass doors that opens up to a patio, which across the street is the Hofbrau house, which is famous, like as being like the place that like people go to. This hotel is located where you can walk out onto the patio. You can walk around the patio and go back into the lobby. It's like a circle.
Yeah.
And we're basically going to have access to all of that. And we are the only conference room. We booked both conference rooms. We went ahead and just splurged and booked both of them. And no one's going to be, there's not going to be a wedding reception. There's not going to be any kind of things going on. because we have the whole thing, both sections. And that door that opens up, it's just so nice because it surpassed my expectations. Their lobby is extremely nice. They have a really nice bar area. They have like a living room area. They have a table gathering area. It is a really
Eh,
nice hotel.
And not only that, everything there's killer restaurants right there, right
Yeah.
next to the place. Everything is 2 or 3 minute walk away.
Yeah.
Five Guys is 5 minutes away. Brio's is 5 minutes away. You got an arcade. You got a bowling alley. You got Brothers
Movie
Restaurant.
theaters.
Hooters is 5 minute walk away.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Hofbrauhaus is 2 minutes across the street because you
Yeah.
got to walk down to the crosswalk, go over, and then walk back up. It is
30
amazing.
seconds if you jaywalk.
Yeah.
It's two lanes.
Hey.
Was it 2 lanes across the road? Is what
But
it is.
it
It's just, yeah.
is amazing. And I went early to go check out gyms because there's some people who are coming that possibly want to go work out. And there was one that was 10 minutes away driving, and then the one that's 6 minutes away is only $6 a day for a day pass. And it's incredible. So I'll probably be going to work out Saturday morning there. They open at 5. So
Yeah, and the woman at the hotel, we didn't talk about this, but did you notice that she pointed out that we were going to be there at like one of the best times ever? She's
Yes.
like, wow, you are here during the
Yeah.
great time to be here. That was
And the hotel staff is impeccable. Very, very, very helpful. Yep. No worries. Yep, you got
were.
it. Yep.
They were very,
Yeah.
very, and the hotel is new. I saw the plaque. Did you happen to catch the date? It's not more than 10 years old. It's like,
Oh no.
it's newer than that.
It's brand new.
Yeah, it's brand new, but I mean, it is just so perfectly
Um,
located and just love it.
Hampton is probably a 10-minute walk away.
I wouldn't say that far. It
No.
was out of my hotel window, and I saw it's right on the other
Yeah.
side of the Newport levee.
Yeah. Aquarium is right there.
In maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, and the walking bridge was closed on the Cincinnati side. Hopefully, it'll be open. But if somebody wants to go to Oktoberfest, it is literally probably a 10-minute walk across the walking bridge, which is 30 seconds from the hotel to enter from the Newport on the levee side. I
Yeah.
walked over there in the morning. It was really neat. But there's another bridge right next door that's open. We can walk over. It's free to get into Oktoberfest. And last year, over 3 days, they had 808,000 people. It's a party.
Yes.
So
It's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, and then also, I don't think we touched on that we were looking for a place to go, like one of those, like an outing, like a dinner location or something. Once we saw the lobby location and saw how the conference room, we quickly saw with our workbench con knowledge that we know that people are not going to want to go anywhere else. That's going to be the hangout spot. And that's why we started taking food more seriously at the hotel.
And did you guys notice that in the lobby, but outside and everywhere, there's tons of places to just go have conversations and hang.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
right
really
by the
good
water.
hang place.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. The view of Cincinnati is like you're looking right at the whole downtown Cincinnati, right across the water. It's just perfect spot. Perfect spot.
I came home and I told Nicole, I was like, I would love to, like one weekend, I just want us, the 4 of us, to go there. Because
Yeah.
it's just such a cool area. There's so much to do. Everything is super close.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Hey.
It's very nice.
Ronnie, Cam, and I went to Lost Art Press, and it was really a nice place. And Ronnie, what was that? A 5-minute drive?
Yeah, it's so close. You just
Yeah.
go along the river, turn left, and it was just, 5 minutes maybe at the
Boy,
most.
that's a tight neighborhood, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. They're very old streets. You can tell it's a neighborhood that's like, been there for way over 100 years. And it was really cool. The GPS took us through like these 3 underpasses, like concrete tunnel, like underpasses under like railroad tracks,
Yep.
right in the middle of the city. I've never been on those. Actually, just listen to Google Maps. I
It was
usually go
cool.
the way. And we
And
went in
they-
there. There was someone in there. She was like a pretty young woodworker. She was making a chair.
Apprentice.
And she's making a chair. She was like, "Hey, how are you all doing?" and we talked to her for a while, and then Sedge knew who the other person was.
Yeah, she came in, Megan Fitzpatrick. Really, she's been with Lost Art Press from the beginning, so it was cool. I bought a couple. They bring cash for blemished books, and then they have all their other books for sale. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool, and they got some Crucible tools for sale too. But I
What's
walked out with a
Crucible
couple.
tools?
It's their tool company, Lost Art Press's tool company, and they make dividers and all kinds of things, sliding bevels, and they're really high quality. Hammers, holdfasts, and a variety of everything. It's right there. Go to Lost Art Press blog or Lost Art Press to see the books, and then they'll see Crucible tool, and you can see what they have. It's kind of neat. It's very. I thought it's. I like I said to them, I go, I've been following the blog forever since, I guess it started, and I saw them renovating that space. And so they asked me, is it look smaller? Everybody says it looks small. I go, no, actually it looks bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to have. It just felt great being there. I got the same feeling at that hotel too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really did. And then it was a lot of fun. Leo was there. It was really great to have Leo there, and also Cam. And when the five of us went over to late afternoon to Hofbrauhaus, and we were just on the tables, which is the same tables I have everywhere, every Hofbrauhaus I've been, and it was just so relaxed and chill,
Mm.
and just discussing
Well,
with it. It was great.
until the guy came over and Ronnie said he was rude.
I did have to say that out loud. The guy came over to us and he was like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna have to ask you to move." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Well, this table's reserved. That one's not." And I'm sitting
Oh
there,
yeah.
why don't you just tell the people go to this table?
Oh yeah,
Because
that's
they're
right.
still sitting there.
That
And
was rude.
he was like, "Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you that." I'm like, "Well, it's rude." And he was like, I don't know where it went from there. I just got up, but I just sometimes customer service things, I get very picky about that. And I think don't take your existing customers and put them one table over just so you can put the one who reserved the table right. It does not make any sense at all.
It doesn't make any difference what table they sat at, right?
No, it did not. So I just thought that was weird, but it's a very nice place. And going to Germany last summer and seeing the Hofbrauhaus in Munich, I have a whole new appreciation for the Hofbrauhaus in Covington, Newport, wherever that falls, because it looks just like it. I mean, they did a great job recreating it. I used to think it was just, a made up thing, but I saw it actually comes from the original one in Munich, and it's exactly the same. It's not exactly, but it's very similar. Same, like you said, same furniture, type tables and things, and the outdoor area and stuff. It's very similar. So I think how perfect of a theme for our Green Suitors Con, because most of our followers are also festival and con. And to have that as like one of our outing places, it just seems like it's so appropriate. It just all makes sense.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So we got a lot of things done. We got a lot of details. We didn't know how we were going to do things. We got a lot of things worked out, and it makes a lot more sense of the logistics. We made some headway on food, which is much better than we plan on doing, which is going to be some nice surprises. I felt really good about it when we left. It was very worth it. It wasn't just like we call in the corporate world a boondoggle. It was not a boondoggle. We did actually work most of the time. It was like 70% of the time we worked.
I would say that, like, after seeing it in person, it's substantially better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
For the event. It's not a 5-star hotel, but like for the event that we're trying to do, it turned out to be way better than what I was expecting, for sure.
Yeah.
So might have to continue that location.
Yes. Very centrally located as well.
In other news, guess what I did this weekend and finished today?
Played golf.
I did play golf.
Didn't you put your dust collector in?
I sure did.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yep.
Cool.
The new dust collector is mounted. And everything is working as it should. I was even able to lift the motor all by myself. up the ladder and place it on top. It was not light, but it wasn't
It's
wasn't
because you've been
difficult.
working out.
That's what I'm thinking. It must have been lifting all those
You must
weights.
have, Leo helped, I'm sure.
He did. Yeah, I was just like, here, I'll hand it to you. And he was just standing up on the top.
Just
and
let him
threw it
stand
on.
under it while you're putting it up there. That's the best
Yeah.
idea.
Yep. No, everything worked out exactly how I wanted to. The only bummer is that I'm waiting on dust collection fittings and I don't know when they're going to be here, which is kind of lame, but I can't even hook it up to my ductwork because I don't have the reducer to get it down to where it needs to be. But when that comes in, hopefully this week, I'll be able to get it. I did turn it on though. And put my hand in front of it like you have to do.
My great grandma used to always say, every time I have high hopes, someone brings in the reducer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart woman. Smart woman.
She started talking about Norfab, and I was like, what's Norfab? What is she talking about?
She invented it, designed it, I think.
We didn't know what she was talking about.
Yeah.
She was like high-end, expensive fittings. And we were like, what are you talking about? That's a whole nother story, though.
Yeah.
And then she started that company. It took off.
No, but I was pleasantly surprised by the volume level of the dust collector. It's slightly louder than the Harvey. Obviously, I mean, it's advertised as that too, but only by a few decibels. But I don't even have any pipe on it yet. And typically it's much louder when there isn't any pipe on the inlet, like the air's not enclosed. But I was like, wow. I turned it on, came inside the house. You can hear it in like the kitchen, but you could hear my old one in the kitchen. Came over to the office, which is on the other side of the wall. Nothing.
Is it connected to your wall or your ceiling? How is it connected?
So now it is. So you know how I had the Harvey underneath the countertop in that back corner that was on an exterior wall. Well, now I've actually attached the dust collector, or the unit, and the bracket is attached to the studs of the wall that I built, which is tied into the structure of the house.
Because I was wondering, I mean, like, I'm sure that like some type of rubber washer between would make a huge difference in the noise transmission of it. If you did have a noise issue, that's supposed to make a huge difference, because if not, it's like conducting the noise against the wall, So like putting something, even if you already had it installed, if you loosen it up and put like some rubber and then tighten it down, it maybe would make a difference in not conducting sound.
Yeah. It's fine.
If it's fine, it doesn't matter.
Do you guys remember? Maybe you do. I don't know if we talked about it too much, but all of the stress and headaches that I had about the noise level and all the things that I did.
Yeah.
Green glue, soundproofing drywall. We're going to go back down that road again. Yeah, I just freaked out about it a little bit. Now looking, a year and a half later, I'm like, none of that even mattered, because I'm never woodworking when anybody is in a room or sleeping or anything else. So I'm like, it was such a stupid thing to stress about. But yeah.
So do you know what the decibels are of that, just off the top of your head, since you just recently
I want to say it's 74 is what they advertise.
Because my jet that came off the motor I have in my shop
is like 87.
It's loud.
Yeah, it's significant.
It's like crazy loud. That's the only thing I kept was the motor. I got rid of all the rest of it. But whenever I kick that thing on, I cannot wait to turn it off. Even when I have ear protection in, it's just loud.
Yeah, I used to have a jet, and it was like absurdly loud. It was like a Porter Cable pancake air compressor.
Yes. Do you know how long I had a Porter Cable pancake, but I didn't realize how they had made quiet ones? I had it forever. And I got the other one. I got a Makita that was like it weighs 96 pounds, but I turned it on. I was like, what? It's like a fourth of the volume of a Porter Cable pancake.
It's your Makita
an oil.
An oil?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
An oil. Yeah, it's an oil.
It makes oil bath is so much quieter.
It makes a huge difference. That thing is so quiet. It actually kicked on just now while I was talking to you. Cameron has it turned on what we were doing a minute ago, and I can barely even hear it.
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, we wouldn't hear it anyway because of the microphone.
That's so true. I meant to play you all the audio file that I was trying to play last time that the microphone was blocking out. It's amazing. I had my iPhone on an audio file that was as loud as it would go, and the microphone was blocking it out. Couldn't even play it for you all last week. That was so weird. You were like, can't hear it. So
No,
it's
yeah. That
yeah.
I thought was kind of strange because I've been on other podcasts where they use their phone to do like sound effects and all that stuff, and they hold it
Yeah,
up to
it
the.
may be a setting I have that I don't even know in the software. Maybe I have something in the settings,
Yeah.
but it did a great job of blocking that out.
Hmm.
Well, that's interesting that I'm actually interested in the dust collector. I'm watching that one because I'm starting to not want to do the free flow thing that I've been doing off the back of my shop. Mine just free flows off the back, but last year I added to like my parking lot, my gravel area. So now it's actually blowing dust up in the air that can go onto my gravel. Before it didn't matter. It just went in a dump trailer. So I'm think I might start collecting my dust in the near
Mm.
future. So I'm watching that one. It's interesting.
Well, so that's a question that I have because I've heard a lot of people talk about this. When you vent your dust collection outside, and if you have a climate controlled space,
Mhm.
you're basically sucking out any of that air. But I want to say it was Mike Coffey that I saw. He just upgraded to like this massive industrial, like Oneida dust collection unit. And I think he has something that's like it's like a return. So it
Mhm.
it continues to cycle the air. I thought that was really interesting because I didn't even know such a thing existed.
They have them for houses as well. It brings the fresh air in and keeps the conditioned air, but lets fresh air into the mix. It's almost like a mixing valve for air. They
Hmm.
have that. For me, I run my big machines so rarely it would not matter. Like I run them and I turn them off. It's not like they're on all day and I'm just running them nonstop. That's when I think it would make a difference with conditioned air. But when you're just running them for this or that, I don't think you're going to really notice a big difference.
Mhm.
That's my non-scientific thinking. But
Do you know what I realized that I really, really, really took for granted and missed, and now I absolutely love that I have it again?
your automated gates,
No, I mean those are amazing, but instantaneous power.
Oh yeah, you don't have to let it ramp up.
No, and I mean I on the Harvey, I even I increased the ramp up time on it, but it's nothing compared to the Oneida. The minute I hit that button, 1 second full power. As soon as you hit the button to turn it off, suction stops.
How long does the Javi take to ramp up?
So mine is faster than the stock Harveys. I think I have mine set to 10 seconds now. But when it comes from the factory, I want to say it's like 15 seconds, maybe
So
even a little.
what are you gonna do? Change it? Is it software,
Well,
or you
it's
gotta
kind
buy
of
something?
no, 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 no. It's kind of tricky because the Harvey is operated off of a VFD, and the VFD, there's a program function for like literally everything that the dust collector does. And you have to figure out which setting is the setting for the ramp up and ramp down speed. And then you can adjust that. I have one of the older Harveys, right? Like one of the first generation Harveys. So
Yeah.
the VFD that was in my system is different than the VFD that's in the newer ones. Now, you can still do it to the newer ones, but it would be a little bit more challenging than mine. And I only know
VFD being variable frequency drive.
correct.
I have that on my
Yeah.
CNC.
So one time Leo came out in the shop and right after I got my dust collector, he started pushing the buttons and the knobs and actually has a sticker on there that says, do not touch these buttons. So he basically wiped everything. And so I had to go through and reprogram the VFD at that
Gosh.
time. And Harvey helped me with it. The
Three.
Yeah, the tech guys they sent me a video. It was like an hour and a half, and I had to go line by line programming every single thing
Oh,
on that machine.
shnikey.
See, I've thought about that before. Mine was my CNC was accidentally by the company wired for a 3-phase and it showed up and I was like, it's not, I don't have 3-phase. And they're like, oh, I missed that. Sales guy missed that. So they sent a guy from Atlanta, the guy who built my CNC. They sent him up here for 2 days. He rewired it, and I paid $750 for a VFD. It was a Mitsubishi VFD. They mounted it under the CNC, and it has its own LCD screen and buttons and everything. And sometimes I've had to reset it a few times when it's been certain things will make it sometimes lock out where it has to be reset. And sometimes I stick my head down there and I go, if this thing ever has a problem, I have no clue what. All I know how to do is turn it on and turn it off. But it has a screen and it has menus. It's like a 12 inches by 6-inch box, a huge piece of electronics that I'm like, I don't even know how to use this thing. So you just answered a question I had of what would happen if something was to go off.
Wow.
Wow.
So the only reason I was able to because so that was the thing that really had me on the fence about the grit automation stuff, is the fact that it takes so long for the Harvey to get to full speed. And when I was telling Joel's the inventor of the grit automation stuff, he's a computer whiz, tech wizard, and I was telling him, I just don't know because it takes so long to turn on the machine. And if now the tool is going to turn on the dust collector, that means that I'm going to turn on the tool and I'm going to stand there for 15 seconds while I'm waiting for this thing to get up to enough power to actually extract the dust. And he is like, which dust collector do you have? I'm like, the Harvey. He's like, it's on a VFD, right? I said, yeah. He's like, oh, we can change that. I was like, can we? He's like, yeah. And he just went online. He's like, tell me what kind of VFD it is. I'm like, oh, it's a Siemens, whatever. And he was like, type stuff in the computer. He's like, oh yeah, I got it right here. We can do it.
Wow.
Reprogrammed it. And like, it took about like 5 minutes, I would say, to find out exactly how to get to that setting on the machine. And then once we did that, I have a video of it on my phone. It literally takes like 15 seconds and you're done.
Wow. There's a book. I have a book with my VFD that's like 200 pages long. And I look through it. There's not a page of it that makes sense to me. Like you're scrolling through it and you're going, okay, I'm waiting till something makes sense to me. No, nothing. All I know is that it was wired for 3-phase. The only way we can make the 220 work, the single phase work for it, is to have a VFD between that and the CNC. And it took the guy they sent here, it took him 12 hours to rewire it, to make it work.
Wow.
And they did that on their cost. The only thing they asked me to pay for was the $750 for the VFD, which I thought was awesome. I was very impressed by that. And the guy, when he showed up, he's like, I built your CNC. I just finished it like 2 weeks ago. He's like, I'm very familiar with this one. So it was kind of cool. But
oh man, I just got a text message from Jay, the NordFab connection that I have, and he says, I'm hoping that it ships tomorrow. Technically, they have to fabricate the reducer because of the dimensions. Wah, wah, wah.
Don't name drop yet. But if you run into any problems, let them know about my grandmother. And
Yep.
I will.
but don't abuse that knowledge. Yeah. She actually, I was going to tell you about Harvey. There's a whole, that her first husband, his last name was Harvey. Her first marriage.
Really?
Yeah. I don't want you to play that card yet. It sounds like you're done with that. So
She sounds like a VFD, a very famous dame.
She's like,
Heyo,
Heyo.
man,
There
right
you
off the
go.
top of your head.
Yeah, baby.
there you go. Isn't
Well,
it funny how
Sedge-
you learn? Isn't it funny you learn how about what things are by when you have a problem or when something breaks? Like
Yep.
my CNC doesn't work, and they're like, "Hey, because you've got a 3-phase, you need to have a VFD." I'm like, "What's a VFD?" They're like, "That's $750." I learned what a VFD was. Every car part I've ever had that's broken, I know what it is. But if it hasn't broken, I don't know what it is. You learn.
I feel like that's with everything, because that reminds me of like the fact that I'm still considering like ripping down the table saw to bare bones again and going through it all, because every time you do something like that, you learn
right.
and you have such a better understanding
Yes.
of that device that you can get it better and better each time. It's time consuming, sure, but I did it today with the Harvey. Like there was a couple of things out, like I took it apart today and like cleaned it all out, and There was a couple adjustments that I needed to make because the seal was getting a little loose, but like I was just like, oh, I've done this multiple times. This is so much easier than the first time I did it.
We are so lucky to live in the age of YouTube because
Yep.
Cameron recently had a problem with his Jeep overheating, and we searched on YouTube Jeep overheating at at high speeds, and all these videos started coming up. We watched like 4 or 5 of them, and we watched everybody said it was a thermostat, and we watched the whole video. And what's interesting is you get to see people and how they do it differently. You're like, well, the last guy drained the whole thing. This guy didn't drain the system. You get to see there's multiple ways of doing things, and you almost have to watch 4 or 5 videos and get the average
Yes.
to say,
Yep.
okay, I'm going to do
Yep.
this because even though the one
Yep.
guy went crazy on it, I mean, he like took the whole front of the Jeep apart. And at first time I was like, what? But the other guy's like, you don't have to do that. Just do this. And I felt like when we did that today, actually right before the podcast, I felt like I had done it before. Like everything was familiar to me. And it was just amazing. Like how we have
Hey.
our disposal now. It's amazing.
Hey, Ronnie, tell Cam I just did this weekend my first Jeep modification.
Oh, what was that?
I washed it.
That's a big deal. Sometimes you want to keep them dirty.
Yeah, I washed it, and I went out and got the chemical guys.
Oh, good. Which
Wash. Huh?
Which one did you get? Just the
They got so many different ones,
I
but I
know.
got and it smells like melons. It's really
Oh, yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I
But
know.
boy, I just used the bucket and my brush and came out really good. So Marianne, when she came home, she looked at it and she goes, I thought you were going to wash your vehicle. I go, I did. She goes, you know what? That's a good color because it didn't look dirty.
Oh, I thought you were going to say what happened to me. Every time I'm washing my car, Madison and Kelly come out and they're like, "Are you going to wash mine?" If I wash mine, I have to wash 2 others. Cameron's always okay with because Jeeps look good when they're not clean too. And he's like, "No, Dad, I've got a perfect patina on the rail. I've got perfect mud splashes on both sides."
I was going to wash her car, but she had just stopped with Danny. He's up from Florida. And they stopped and had the car washed. Hers. She goes, I wish I would have known. I go, well, whatever.
Last podcast we talked about mowing. This time, washing
Car wash.
I love to wash cars. I think it
Me
is
too.
so fun. I
Me
think
too.
it is so fun because it's like mowing. You get to see an instant reward. It's not as fun when cars start having damage. Like Madison's car has wheel scuffs on all 4 wheels. Like the first few months she had it, she told me it was already like that. It wasn't, but it's not as fun. It's not as fun to clean a silver wheel that's got black like stuff stuck in the little grooves. You're like, it's not as fun. But when you can make them look perfect, like showroom,
Yes.
yes. What were you gonna say?
And
Sid?
and then today I was somewhere and I saw a Porsche. They had these really cool rims that were matte black, but my God, were they covered? A really nice Porsche covered with brake dust.
Yeah, you know what that is.
And
Those
I can
rims-
imagine that person has not had that car washed in forever.
No, you know what? You'd be surprised. You know why? Because I have the exact same problem. I can drive my car one time and the dust is crazy. And it's what it is, the dust for high performance pads, they dust like crazy. And you have to
Really?
change out the pads to something that's not as high performance just to make them stop. It's crazy that for a while when I had my car, I was like, why is my car so dusty all the way down the side when I drive it once or twice? And I started looking on the forums and they said that the factory high performance calipers, that's what they do. They dust and they dust strong. And also German cars do it as well. And Madison has a German car and Kelly has a German car. So we have 3 cars that like the brakes are not, they just put a ton of dust out every time. But that's what that is.
So
Ford can do it in one drive.
they we're heading to Kansas City in the morning, an 8-hour drive over, and we have a Flex that we use, but we rented a Jeep Wagoneer. Okay, that's what they gave us. Holy moly, is that thing humongous?
Yeah, it's big.
Wow.
My
I'm glad
neighbors
I'm
have-
not driving that. Garrett and I heading over on the Flex. We packed them out, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
You guys are
doing,
driving there?
Oh yeah, it's 8 hours.
It's not bad.
Well, we have to bring tools because we got to demonstrate for 2
Oh,
days.
duh. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
What
pretty
is
cool.
it? What is it exactly?
It's we do it every year. It's we're one of the sponsors. All the woodcraft owners and managers come, and it's not open to the public. It's just for them and all the vendors that they do business with.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then they some of the manufacturers bring people in, like an influencer here or there, and I think Jess is going to be the Jess Crow, but also Jess is a vendor because of the epoxy that is sold there, and she also
Yeah.
teaches classes, and she hangs out, I think, in the Black Diamond Pigment booth with those really nice couple from Black Diamond Pigments, and it's kind of fun because I know quite a few of the vendors. It's the same old knuckleheads that we all hang out, and I've trained a
Didn't-
lot of the woodcraft people, and it's been
Didn't they
fun.
just recently do one in Ohio that you went to?
No,
There was another one. That,
I do, and
Was that the one last year? I think Jason maybe think about the one you did last year.
yeah, I did one last year. I do it every year. Last year it was in Columbus,
Ohio, I
It's-
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always in Columbus or Cleveland. Last year was in Columbus again. Yeah, because Garrett and I went over, and I went to Rogue and got those 80-pound dumbbells. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they changed the location of it then.
Yeah, but it's usually
okay.
Jason, it's usually in Columbus, but every once in a while they'll throw it in Cleveland, and I've done it also in Nashville. This year they wanted to switch it up and do it in Kansas City, Missouri. So I'm pretty stoked. I've never stayed there. I've just driven through Kansas City, Missouri. So
Well, no,
that'd be
Matt
fun.
Matt Outlaw's there for it.
Oh, he's going to be at the show.
Yeah, because he does a lot of work with woodcraft, but he's there already. He's doing some meetup or something there.
That's wicked cool.
Sedge, I did hear back from the lawyers, and they contacted Woodcraft about calling it Woodcraft Con. And
Yeah.
they gave them a cease and a desist to just not do that.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we own Con now,
Yes,
don't we?
Con is owned by Green Suitors. So
Okay.
Con.
And
Con.
Con. And I've also heard a few people call it the Con,
The
and that's
Con,
okay too.
That
We've
is.
already trademarked that as well.
Yes, everything is registered, documented. Our lawyers.
Well, technically, it won't be the con until everybody shows up and realizes that we're not actually even having
we're
that.
not even there.
All
That's
that
the
money that
con.
they paid the hotel actually just went into our accounts.
When they call
Actually,
us,
the
we're like,
hotel thought when we were talking about calling it Con, they were thinking, is this like ex-prisoners?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, you may. Yeah, it might be a little rough that night.
A lot of cons. A lot of cons, right?
Cons.
Hey, Jason, on the top of the bill of your hat, it looks like it's wet. It looks like it's beaded with water. See that, Ronnie?
No,
No.
he's got some
Just-
dust on there.
It's just incredibly dirty.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. It looks like it was beaded with water.
I need to get new hats. The company I've been getting my hats from, they aren't responding to my messages on Instagram, so I'm wondering if they're even in business anymore.
I'll let you know the company that they've been killing me. Like I made one order of like 12, and they send me messages like every week. They're out of like Michigan or Wisconsin area. I'll send you their contact. They turn around things quick, and they have a ton of options. No minimum. Yeah.
Oh,
they're
cool.
good.
Yeah, let me know because I need to find somebody
good.
else now.
I see them every time I'm at the IWF show, the Builder show. They're at all the shows, and they just cater to like contractors and like smaller, but they do big too. But they send me their catalog. It's overwhelming. Like
Yeah.
you can get your logo on anything. It's really cool.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely send me that.
I will.
Sedge, did you do anything interesting this weekend? We didn't see each other.
I know, and I missed you.
What are y'all gonna do? You didn't see him?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I got a lot done around the house. I replaced it just I don't know. You know what I like? I think I think a lot of people listening can relate to this. I grew up where if something's broken, try to fix it yourself. Go investigate it, do it. And now Ronnie even said in this era of YouTube, it's so much easier. But
Oh, yeah.
sometimes just take a couple screws out of something, look inside. Hopefully you don't get electrocuted. But I'll tell you what, I fixed a couple things around outside the house, inside the house. But I I we shot a video a Sunday morning, Chris and I, on something that I had been waiting for. And the new, I'll just call it out because the video did halfway decent. The TSO low profile stops. And but they're designed for the multifunction table because they're bored 96 on center, you know. But I do a lot on my European bench when I hand plane thin stock or scrape thin stock. So I was thinking, you know, how am I gonna do this? So last week I realized, oh, duh. You know, I just used the UJK system to bore out a piece of MDF, 96 millimeter on center, 20 millimeter holes. The array, it looks like an MFT top, but it's actually a little bit bigger for my STM, and I'm going to do a video on that. But what was cool was I said, how am I going to bore this? Because my dog holes don't line up 96 on center. I use that UJK system and I bored another row of dog holes on my European beach workbench. And I was just, I'll tell you what, I patted myself on the back so much so as I started to do it, I said, I'm going to do the whole row, but I'm going to wait so we can shoot a video on it. And that's what we released yesterday afternoon.
Oh, cool.
It's
Did you
pretty
use
cool.
the parf guide system?
I used a UJK Mark II Parf Guide system, but I had gotten my own system, so I didn't use your 20 millimeter bit in that beach. I used mine, so it was pretty cool. That Parf system is awesome to bore out holes, and it actually got me thinking I could use it elsewhere in my shop. It's a neat system. So that's what I was working on this weekend. And then off topic, Marianne and Danny's up for the weekend, and she bought tickets for a movie. We went to a movie, and we go to this place, Flicks Brew House, and I get, you know, this stadium seating, and I saw Kingdom, Planet of the Apes, and it was the, you know, Ronnie growing up. You remember the original Planet of the Apes?
Mm-hmm.
Completely different, dude. The CGI in this is off the planet, and it was good. And then yesterday we went to a really nice restaurant. We didn't go to Emily and Chris's wedding in the Dominican Republic, but we wanted to celebrate with them. And you know how you put things off and off and off and off. Well, we finally all got together. There's actually 8 of us that went out to you know that place that's in Whitestown, Jason, called Harmony Steakhouse.
I have not been there.
Okay, neither had I, but Marianne went with Danny last time he was up in March, but she didn't go to the hibachi side. And we went to the hibachi side and had the Seiberts there and their parents. And we had a nice little get together. It was 8 of us. I'm going to tell you something. I haven't had a good Japanese hibachi meal in a long, long time. And it was great just hanging out last night. So, first thing I thought of is, we all gotta go to that place, you know?
Yeah.
So what was nice is Sedge Tool picked it up because that's, you know, Chris and I picked it up for everybody. It was kind of nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. So Chris and I were talking today. He goes, that felt really good that our business bought that dinner. And I said to his dad and his mom, I go, let's talk a little bit about Chris and his expectations in the Sedge Tool. And we did. I go, okay, that's enough. They go, why? I go, because now we're going to write it off. They all started laughing.
Yeah. You
know,
got to
so-
get out. You got to get out the little paper in your wallet always and go over your corporate mission at
That's
every
it.
at every meal. And everybody
That's
just says amen, and then you put it back.
So the thing I wanted to make a point of on that is, Chris and I work really, really hard on Sundays to do our channel, and Saturdays as well sometimes. And it was just nice seeing just a little bit of profit we have made getting this going, we're always reinvesting. Chris just got that Osmo camera
Love it.
that it
It's in my
has
pocket.
changed how we actually film in the shop. And he got the studio
DJI mics.
with the, because we saw them using that. Yeah, Don had it, right?
Yeah.
And it was really cool. It's magnetic and it just sticks.
Yeah.
And I was just like, so we're always investing in our company.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to celebrate with our families like that.
I just ordered the new mics because the new ones, you don't have to have the receiver connected to the Osmo. It's just the mic straight to. So I have the original mic and it has to have a receiver on the back of the Osmo. And I went ahead and ordered the other one, even though I've only had that for like a year and a half because the improvements are worth it. That's like a no-brainer. I record with it all the time. It's great.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. And I just, like I said, I'm excited to get in the car in the morning and take off for 3 days. I get in at 3 a.m. on Friday morning because we're leaving right after the show. And then I gotta wake up and I'll get like 4 hours, and then I gotta do Festool Live.
I want to watch that one with popcorn.
Yeah, I know, man. So Minnie was saying, "You're really gonna do that?" I go, "Yeah," and I go, "Come in here. I have it all set up."
What's it going to be? What's the topic?
Top system tips, number 5. They actually do really well, and I go over like 4 or 5 aha moments that I've seen in training classes.
That's valuable stuff.
It's fun.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
It's fun.
That's cool.
So, Ronnie, what have you been up to?
Not really anything. No, I've been up to.
You're starting to sound like me.
I've been up to a lot. I go through my phases where rental houses wise, last week was while I wait for materials to come in, like my cycle is materials come in usually on a shipment, which is like 2 or 3 jobs at a time. And we hit that hard. In between there, I switch over to like rental house projects. And we have a couple of weird things that have happened, like an overhang in my rental. One of them has started drooping. I went over there and it looks like the beam has rotted out on a little porch stoop under the aluminum. Cameron and I have to pull that stuff out, and just little busy work things. But I also had my original first rental house has had the water heater go out, and I was going over there on Friday to look. It's a gas water heater. We just talked about on the podcast, and I was like, I don't touch gas ones. I've decided with YouTube, I went out and looked, and I was like, it's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is you turn the gas off, you disconnect the thing, you put the gas line back on, and you put this little stuff on there that shows you if you have bubbles, and you hit the pilot light. So I'm going to be doing a gas water heater for the first time this week, it looks like it's pretty much the same thing as electrical. So that's just an update for people who listen. I said I don't do those. I'm going to do one. And partly because I told Kelly out of just laziness, I was like, just tell a plumber to come. Just tell a plumber. She called, and between either not being able to get the plumbing companies to come out there soon, because all we have is a minor leak. The guy just told us it was leaking. I went out there and looked. It's leaking at the bottom of the pan. It's just a small drip. So we need to replace it. But if you do get someone out there like Jason found, they charge you. It's just ridiculous. And I told her I'll do it. Cameron, I will do it. It'll be a good learning experience. So going to YouTube, watch that this weekend. I'll be doing that. Also, I tell you, I'm starting to realize I have a problem. I create projects for myself. I create to-dos for myself. Example, my neighbors, they cut their river birch trees. I have a perfect view of some of their windows from our pool in the backyard. I sat there and looked, and I was like, I'm 2 years from these trees growing where they can't see. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I figured out that the umbrella we had in our backyard already on one corner, if I had that right there, it would block their view and like keep us kind of the private side. I'm not going to use the plastic base that comes with the umbrella. So I thought, I'm just got to do up here in the ground. So out of laziness, I'll say it was laziness. I used the red Quickcrete that is like the kind you don't have to mix up, that you just put it in powder and you spray water on it. And I thought that would be fine. Like I put that on there, let it sit for 3 days. I go to drill in the thing for the tap cons for the top. It just blows up on me, just completely falls apart. And I was like, that's why you use mixed concrete and not the powder thing. So this morning, I got up before it got hot and I dug out 2.5 feet of concrete that I just poured. Like, not poured, I poured the powder in there and sprayed water on it. I had to dig all of that out. And luckily, Cameron woke up about 9:30 and he came out, started helping me. I found something to do while he was muscling it out. But that was a task. And I put a new tube in there. I used the mud mixer I've talked about, gave him some props today. I put on my story. Cameron was like, why are you going to get the mud mixer when it's like 3 or 4 bags of 80-pound concrete? Let's mix it by hand. I'm like, that sucks to do that. I don't want to. And it was worth it. I put it on a trailer, took it over to my house, just threw that in there. I mean, it was like as fast as you put them on there. It was 3 bags. I filled that pier all the way to the top, sprayed it with water, done. Didn't have to mix a speck of concrete. It was amazing. So I'm doing it right, but I created this project for myself. I have more in the form and the footer than I do in the umbrella, which is so funny.
Oh my God.
But I used this method on the other side and it worked great. And I used mixed like concrete. So there's a big difference in the red Quickcrete that they say is for posts that you can spray that kind of cures in the ground. You can't use it for what I was trying to use it for. So that's kind of a learning thing for me. But we put the form in today, leveled it out, poured it. It was quick. We were done by 10:30, which was nice. So I've been doing some things around the house, just waiting for some orders to come in. I've had some service calls I've been working on. I'm just working all over right now. June is always busy for us. We're like all over the place. We've had a lot of tenants call all of a sudden, which is weird. Like they all like got together and said, "Hey, let's call them on the same day." So we had that happen, but it's good. I'm never bored.
Nice.
And I mentioned that Cameron, I just fixed something on his Jeep, which is so cool because I'm not an engine person, but I just from YouTube, he was said his what it was happening. He was taking the trailer in the your zero turn, Jason, to Lexington which is like 15 miles away to mow one of our empty rentals. And his Jeep was overheating every time he put a trailer behind it. It's like a new thing. He's like, every time I get over 2.5 RPMs, 2.5, 2,500, he's like, it's overheating. And we started Googling it. I mean, just told us, he's like, thermostat. And we replaced it right before this podcast. And he went out on the interstate and tested it. And he texted me. He's like, it's working. So it's really cool to fix something.
Yes.
Nice.
It's cool to fix something. A lot of things we try to fix or something, you feel like you need another part or it's like a failure. It's nice to actually accomplish something.
Well, it always feels good. Yeah. When you may suck while you're doing it, but then when it's done, you're like, oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
I saved a bunch of money.
And you saved a ton of money
Yes.
in calling somebody out.
We looked it up and a thermostat replacement average is $400 to $600. And it was a $21 part. And I bought a $20 reservoir that hooks to your coolant that lets it come up and get the bubbles out. So we spent $41 on something that costs between $400 to $600. It's crazy. It took us an hour and a half.
And I don't think I talked about it on the podcast, but I talked about it before the podcast. I had a photo sensor that wasn't working. I went up and I unscrewed a couple of screws, looked inside, took a picture of the solenoid, went and priced it out. It was $4.67. And I said, before I order it, I'm going to try something. So I went up and I cleaned it a little. And then when I was up there, I was talking to Andrea. She goes, yeah, my friend went up there and cleaned it and it worked. And I went and took some 8,000 grit and polished the lens on there. Oh, I go, hey, that's kind of crystal clear. Woke up this morning, my garage lights are working again.
Awesome. It's so fun to fix things. What's bad is there's a lot of things now that is not possible for you to fix because of computerized or because of something. That's what's bad. It would be nice to live in the time when you could fix anything.
It's your knowledge. It's your knowledge and wisdom to know that you could polish something and you have that high grit to do it. And there's a lot of people who would have called an electrician to replace that.
Right. That's neat.
And that is, I bet that's $150 job because you got to pay for their time, right? $200.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like free.
Yeah, it's fun.
Three
And you don't
ninety
have to worry
free.
about somebody coming to the house and messing things up.
Well, speaking of free, you should become a patron.
Is that free?
Otherwise, you're not going to get all these free great giveaways. No, I say we wrap it up. Sedge, I know you got to get on the road early tomorrow morning. But I guess one more time, we should just say congratulations to Mr. Steve Iadarola.
I
Yeah.
add a rolla.
Guess we'll be going to Boston.
Adirola.
Are you gonna reach out to him before Friday, or is he gonna find out now?
No, I
when-
want him to find out on the show. He'll probably write me right after he listens to it.
Just let it roll.
Yeah.
And it's beers with the boys Friday night.
That's right.
It
So
is.
that,
Oh,
will he
boy,
find
I'm gonna
out
be in
before
really
that?
good shape at that time.
Yeah.
Will he find out before the beer because it releases in the morning, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so he'll know already. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Hey, you guys wouldn't mind on beers with the boys? I fall asleep, would you?
No,
Because
it's
you will have had
totally
a
fine.
marathon.
Oh,
Nice.
totally fine. We'll allow it. We'll allow
I'm
it.
looking forward to seeing everybody Friday night.
I
Yeah.
can say that I've had a lot of people because now that Nicole sends out invites that are tied to the calendar or whatever, I get all the notifications that people accept it or reject it, and we've had quite a few people that have accepted it, so it should be good.
Good.
I'm excited.
Always a good
So,
time.
for anybody that's listening that doesn't know what we're talking about, we do quarterly beers with the boys. We do monthly bourbon with the boys for our $20 level and higher. But once every quarter, we do a beers with the boys, which is for everybody, all patrons, regardless of level. It's always a good time. We'll probably have 30 to 50 people in there, and we hang out. And sometimes it gets crazy, and they stay on there until 4 o'clock in the morning. But
It has happened more than once.
these young kids these days. So if you want to get in on that or get in on the potential of us coming to visit your shop like we are for Mr. Steve Iadarola,
I add a rolla.
go to patreon.com/Green Suiters podcast and sign up. But you know what time it is?
Bye-bye.
It's the bye-bye game.
I know.
Bye-bye.
Every time we do this, and I don't wait a minute, what's going on with this? Bye-bye.